For an eternity, the celestial spires stood as a testament to peace, bathed in a light that knew no shadow or sorrow. Here, time was measured only by the radiance of the heavens and the harmony of the spheres that hummed in the air. But the balance was fragile, and even in the highest heights, a cold wind began to stir, carrying the scent of thunder. The Archangel leader stood upon the great balcony, his silver hair catching the last rays of the dying sun as the storm approached. His 6 massive wings unfurled, iridescent and powerful, feeling the vibration of a betrayal that had been brewing in the deep shadows. He looked toward the horizon with a solemn expression, knowing that the peace he protected was about to be shattered forever. From the abyss beneath the clouds, they rose, thousands of dark-winged figures, silhouetted against the crimson light of a new, angry dawn. The deadhead was the fallen commander, a silhouette of obsidian and iron, his very presence a stain upon the holy light. His eyes glowed like dying embers, burning with a vengeance that had waited an eternity to be unleashed upon his former brothers. The first strike was not a sword, but a scream of energy that cracked the foundations of the celestial paradise. Angels in silver armor took to the sky, their wings beating in unison as they formed a desperate line of defense. The sky, once a canvas of gold, was now a roiling sea of deep purple and blood red, choked by the smoke of war. The clash was deafening. Light met shadow in a symphony of steel and sorcery that shook the heavens to their core. Swords forged from pure starlight met blades of dark, jagged energy, each impact sending shockwaves through the thin, cold air. Aerial combat turned the clouds into a graveyard of feathers and fire as the two armies tore into one another. Then, the center of the storm parted. The two leaders found each other amidst the chaos, their eyes locking in a final challenge. They moved with a speed that defied the laws of the realm, their duel creating shockwaves that shattered nearby floating islands. Fire rained down from the sky, a meteor shower of destruction that burned the gardens of the gods. The fallen commander swung his black blade, a crescent of shadow that sought to extinguish the very sun, but the Archangel met him with a burst of blinding radiance, his 6 wings glowing like 1,000 stars. The scale of the destruction was absolute. This was not just a battle for a city, but for the soul of the cosmos. In a final, disparate exchange, they poured their entire essence into a single, world-ending strike. The collision resulted in a blinding explosion of white light, an all-consuming force that wiped the slate of reality clean. For a moment, there was only silence, a vacuum where the screams of war were swallowed by the void. Then, the debris began to fall. The golden architecture lay in ruins, floating pieces of a dream that had ended. Slowly, feathers began to drift through the smoke-filled air, some white and pure, others black and charred by the fire. The paradise was fractured, the light of the eternal sun now muted and gray, as if mourning the loss of its children. Amidst the rubble, a single figure remained. The Archangel leader stood alone, his armor cracked, his wings heavy with the weight of victory. He looked down at the vast void where the fallen had been cast out, a bottomless pit of shadow that would now be their home. Heaven was saved, but the cost was a wound that would never truly heal. The age of innocence had passed. The golden light would return, but it would always carry a shadow. The memory of the day the war broke out in heaven, and in the distance, a solitary trumpet sounded, a melancholy call for those who were lost, and those who would never be the same.